Morning. How are you? Monday. Monday. Moon is in Pisces still. I was at the 18th degree earlier. It's probably moved along a little sooner, but I was when I was sitting down for meditation. But yeah, moon will move through the final decan of Pisces today. The sun is at 16 degrees Gemini. Let's take another look. It's still in Gemini. Definitely getting towards the end of things. But let us look. Okay, no, so sun is at 17 degrees Gemini. So a number of commitment of engaging spirit and heart to commit our everyday thoughts. To commit our everyday thoughts to higher and divine wisdom, our everyday thoughts and the way we work with things in our local environment in order to Gemini is a sign of transformation. In order to transform our circumstances, our everyday circumstances. Uranus is at 2 degrees of Gemini today. So 2. Willing to believe that a higher power can restore us to sanity. Yeah, going for that serenity no matter what. Mercury is at the 10th degree of Cancer. Venus is at 24 and Jupiter is at 25. Again, northern number 25, northern net 7. Venus is at her master degree of 6. 2 and 4 equals 6. And Mercury at that 10 is a Taurian degree. So manifestation, right? Manifestation in the material by, again, corralling our thoughts. So that our emotions don't take us away. I'm not going to go too much further into the astrology, but that just gives you a little peek. If you want further information, absolutely go and reference. I always highlight Dorothy Morgan. She's a great. She's actually a Gemini. She's got a birthday coming up. Happy birthday, Dorothy. I think it's later in the month. Anyway, today we're going to read from the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Krans. Yeah, I went to this one and I was thinking, this one's very black and white. So I think I think it's important to look at things from to look at things kind of more with this kind of energy today, kind of a little more clinically. Take that 30,000 foot view, be in a more receptive way to see how your thoughts affect your emotional conditioning is the word that just popped up. Our emotional conditioning. We all hear that, right? That right there tells us that we have an opportunity to change the conditions. Emotional conditioning. Yeah, we already have a card coming up, the Strength card. Yeah, being strong. This is the number 11 card in this deck. But again, you see that infinity sign on the lion. That's an 8, right? On its side. Again, that is in the traditional tarot, the Strength card is often the 8. Here it's the 11, and 11 is integrity. So maintaining our integrity, anything that has integrity has strength. Looking how we use our strength. What's the conditions though? The archetypal, are the archetypes that we look to ones that aren't actually serving us to be at our strength. And if you notice, this lion has a rose. And real courage comes from malleability, from being flexible. Recognizing your own divinity. A lion takes care of itself, but it also is part of a pride. Lions don't really do well on their own. Neither does anything else. But yeah, it takes strength and malleability to stay with situations, to stay in the heat of the sun. I'm really drawn to this sun, the rays of the sun shining over. But this is royalty. This is standing in your royalty doesn't mean that we go blustering about. This is not a bull. This is not a bull in a china shop. This is a lion, graceful, courageous, that can wait lions wait. They wait things out, right, until the time to act. They're not gonna, they don't live in an environment where endless reaction is going to serve them. They reserve their strength. They only go out and do stuff when they need to. And they get really clear on when that is. Coming with that rose. Strength coming with the delicacy of a rose. And it's no easy thing to be carrying a rose which always has thorns in your mouth. Keeping the barbs. Like, I'm going to carry this rose and I'm going to carry it with grace. I've got to be very careful with what I do and what I say and how I think. Bringing in the Christ consciousness, think about that crown of thorns that he wore while other people ridiculed him. People, fine. Again, like I said yesterday, let them. That they're going through what they're going through. Be respectful. The practice of loving attention. St. John of the Cross, loving attention. Or in some 12-step programs, they call it loving detachment. If that's a better depiction for you. Loving people, loving yourself enough to do the things that you love to do, that takes strength. And also just loving, to step away from situations. Not keep needling them. Again, thorns. Not keep needling them. Trying to get your agenda across. Like, you know what? That's tired. That's old. That's so boring. Boring. Not like art. Boring. It's boring. It's black and white thinking. How about some color? Maybe I was being too loud. Sorry. Okay. The Lovers. Ooh. Here today, gone tomorrow. Yeah, this one's taking emphasis in my hand. So we've got two major arcana. We've got the Lovers again. This one came up in the reading when I read from the Arc Tarot. I had a funny feeling this one was going to come up. But again, we have some color in this. It's not just black and white. You can't just look at things at black and white and have the loving life that you want. You can't just look at things as, or we do have to look at the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine. But remember, in that yin and yang, there's a white dot in the black portion. There is a black dot in the white portion. There's a little of each. And there's a boundary around it, right? What's sacred? Find the balance. Geese, the geese here. There's that story about the geese. When they fly in formation, they take breaks, and there's always leadership. There's always leadership. There's a wonderful, I'll post it, about an African proverb about, like, the man may be the head of the house, but the woman is the heart. It doesn't have to be specifically if you identify as male or female or whatever, but those energies have to constantly work together to have the beautiful life. So we've got a 7. This is the 7 card in this deck. Again, spirit. You've got to anchor on spirit to be bigger than you are, to be willing to shift roles. Again, malleability. Okay, we've got more cards coming out. Whoa. All right. Father of Cups. I saw him come up in a different deck, like it was buried down in the deck. So this is the King of Cups. He knows how to create, to use his energies creatively, to use his emotions and intuition in a creative way. We have the 6 of Cups. No, I'm sorry. This is the 6, not the 7. This is receiving. So I don't always get my Roman numerals right. This is the 6 as well, the 6 of Cups. This is, things have deeper roots than you realize, but again, they're colorful. It's not just this black and white stuff. There's a very strong tree here. This is like, look, taking care of the inner child in yourself and recognizing the inner child in other people. Again, he's a great father. Great father. And then the 2 of Wands is here again. So again, this is, but again, they're converging to a point. I love how there's so much color in the, even though when I picked this one up, it was all about, the reason I picked it up was I was like, I'm in black and white thinking. I teach myself all the time. I'm not immune to this stuff. And then we're going to read from the Butterfly Oracle card deck for Life Changes by Doreen. Brought that one up. I felt them coming up. I was thinking about, my hair's crazy today, getting my butterfly. I have a favorite butterfly clip. I do. Very excited about this reading. Ooh, okay. Settled in. Too excited. Butterfly deck have for us today. We'll deal with the grief work. Grief work. Something is passing on in some way. That might be an ego. I'm getting an ego death. A part of us is passing away. Something is passing away. Let's read from the new exercise program. It's time to take a change with your exercise program. Start. That one just kind of came up. That was what I opened. Something is passing. We don't know what that is. This card signals that your heart needs some healing from one or more losses. There's grief work to be done as a way of moving forward with your life. Already you can think of how this specifically applies to you. Unhealed grief is compounded by each subsequent loss. Although it's uncomfortable to mourn and cry, sometimes this is the only path to healing. That's why it's best to heal with an experienced grief counselor, grief support group, or trauma-trained therapist. Loss is one of the more painful processes of change, but we have to allow that in. Yet it can also help us develop compassion and more appreciation for life. Additional meanings, changes that feel like a loss. Let's remember this, okay? A calling to be a grief counselor, performing a eulogy, or comforting a grief-stricken friend. So somebody may be going through a loss around you. And again, we need to, something is changing in a way that something is going to have to go to the wayside. We have to be respectful of that in ourselves and how that makes us feel. And how it makes us feel to be around something or somebody who's going through a loss. This may not be you, but it does require us to be respectful of the loss of. I can think of somebody right now who I know is dealing with a loss. I'm sure we all can, but you have to be respectful of that. To honor all the feelings. Honor all the feelings, strength. We don't know what that is. The thing that you think it might be, if you're like knee-jerk reacting to that, check on that. See how that makes you feel. Feel through it. And then decide how you want to respond. I love you. Have a great day. Be thinking of you. Like, share, subscribe. This will be on all channels of Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. I'll be interested to hear how this energy is playing out for you. Commentary, liking, sharing, subscribing, all of that gets this message in front of people who might need to hear it. Like share directly with somebody who you think might needs to hear it. Or direct message. This is a message for the collective. So if you want your own private reading, just direct message me on any of those platforms. I love you. Have a great day.